just a quarter before the top of the hour, 1 Eastern, here in New York. We come to you live, as always, Monday to Friday from the Question Tequila Studios, high atop the financial capital of the world on Wall Street, right across from the New York Stock Exchange. The stock exchange today is holding much of its gains from this morning, still up about 150 on the relief factor that there'll be no Mexican tariffs right now, and Bitcoin still lingering around 8,000, but that's good news if there's a little support there. You're tuned into Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco, your host, and I always say, you know, on Liquid Lunch, we serve it to you on the rocks, sometimes neat, sometimes a little dirty, but one thing is for sure, it'll always be straight up on Liquid Lunch. And when we want to talk about straight up, you got two straight up guys joining us today. You got former marijuana smuggler, and our good friend Richard Stratton joins us again, who was a forerunner in making cannabis a business. The government just caught up with it a little later. And he's also the author of the book Kingpin. And the Kingpin of Bayonne Community Bank, BCB Bank, joins us. Tom Coughlin again for a second segment. You guys, the way I see it, this is a momentous occasion. I'm going to ring the bell. We have one of the forefathers of marijuana business in the U.S., and I think, from what you were telling me, you want to be one of the forerunners in making banking marijuana great again.
Yes, John. There is issue banking marijuana. Visa, MasterCard, American Express will not accept payments through the ACH system. So what happens is there's tons of cash out in the market that the companies, in order to make money, have to filter into the banking system, and that right there is the problem.
That's where people start looking at it as like money laundering,
right,
and they form a shell corporation to a shell corporation. And Richard, you, back in the day when marijuana wasn't legal here, although to me it's a lot healthier than alcohol, but back in the day, what were you guys doing to get the cash usable in non-cash form?
Well, you know, the interesting thing about it, John, is that the biggest problem that we had was not the marijuana, but the cash. What are we going to do with all this money? How do we get it out of this country and into the Bahamas or into even Canada or Switzerland, one of these places where we could put the cash in the bank and then get it into the legitimate economy? So,
give us one, like the statute of limitations is over. Richard has served his debt to society. He was incarcerated for trafficking in marijuana. He's a world-renowned author now, and always kind enough to give us his time. But give us one good story about how you got a load of dough out of the U.S.
Well, there was a million ways, but the biggest issue was if you're going to fly it out, you got to get in your luggage, and then your luggage has got to go through customs or what have you. So actually, the easiest way for us to do it was to take it to Canada, because Canada didn't have the $10,000 rule. You could take suitcases full of money and fly from Toronto to Switzerland and just declare.
You were done. Got it. So, yeah. Tom, you want as many of these companies that are moving into the cannabis CBD space, you want as much of them to not send it to Canada, right?
That's correct.
You want to figure out ways to get it into BCB legally and provide a service that other banks don't necessarily have the nerve to do.
Right. So, John, basically we do medicinal marijuana. It's what's legal in New York, New Jersey. That's where we bank. These companies, you have to know your customer and who they are. But the real business is not only that if you help them through generating this type of business, their tentacles reaches into so many other legitimate businesses like real estate, pharmacies, so we want to build that business up as well.
So you see an opportunity here to connect with the cannabis and CBD companies, and then you'll get some tangential businesses from the non-cannabis touching businesses that may want to make their life easier by banking with BCB.
Right. Doctors issue prescriptions for medicinal marijuana. Pharmacies issue the dispensaries.
We want a BCB swipe card in there. That's what we want. And he's going to see his regulators tomorrow. Rich, final thoughts. when do you think the federal government will realize that this thing is not?
Well, I think it's coming, John. It's, the thing is they've got to reschedule marijuana. They've got to take it out of the schedule that it's in now, which says it's basically a narcotic, a dangerous drug, and reschedule it. And then once they do that, that'll open the gates for them to legalize it nationally. It's happened in Canada already, so it's just a matter of time. It's coming. It's inevitable. And it's about time, because you want to take all that money out of the black market and stop empowering criminals and the money that flows out of this country and keep it in our economy.
Well, we're going to try to keep it right here. We're going to try to keep you right there after a quick break. I want to thank Richard Stratton and Tom Coughlin for joining us today on Liquid Lunch. Insightful, thoughtful discussion like all our guests, people who know where the rubber meets the road. Quick break, Liquid Lunch, back after this.